Today, we're diving deep into a really fascinating idea from Islamic eschatology, that's the study of the end times, about 7 specific individuals who were chosen to remain alive right up until the final day of judgment. You know, we all think about it. Death. It's the one thing in life that's supposed to be absolutely certain for every single one of us. But what if it isn't? What if there were exceptions?
It's the ultimate question, isn't it? For pretty much all of human history, for all of us, the answer is a hard no. But Islamic tradition presents this incredible exception, a concept that really challenges everything we think we know about mortality. So let's get right into it. We're not talking about just any old myths or legends here. This is a core belief system about 7 individuals, prophets, leaders, and even a deceiver, who are all being preserved by God for a very specific purpose. Their stories are literally woven into the fabric of how the world is supposed to end.
And that number 7, it's not random, it's not just pulled out of thin air. We're talking about 7 key players, each with a critical role to play in a cosmic drama that, according to this tradition, is still unfolding right now. So the big question is, who are they?
Our journey starts with the first group, 4 prophets. These are individuals sent to guide humanity who are then taken from the earth in a way that just completely defies the normal rules of life and death.
Let's kick things off with a name that is probably the most recognizable on this list for many people around the world, Prophet Isa, or as you may know him, Jesus. His story is absolutely central to this whole idea, but maybe not in the way you've heard it before.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. While the traditional Christian belief is that Jesus was crucified, the Quran states very clearly that he wasn't killed or crucified. Instead, it says that God raised him, body and soul, alive into the heavens where he remains to this day. We're talking about a literal physical preservation. So why was he saved? Well, it's not random. There's a huge purpose behind it. Prophet Isa is said to return to earth right before the day of judgment. But he's not coming back with a new message or as a new prophet. He's returning as a follower of the final message to complete a mission, to defeat the great deceiver, a figure we'll talk about in a minute, called the Dajjal, and to bring about an age of true peace and justice across the world.
All right, next up is our second figure, Al-Qidr. And honestly, he's one of the most enigmatic and fascinating characters in Islamic tradition. His name means the Green One, and his story, which is also in the Quran, is this incredible lesson on just how limited our own human understanding can be.
So picture this. Al-Qidr is on a journey with Prophet Musa, that's Moses, and he starts doing these things that, on the surface, seem completely bizarre, even cruel. He wrecks a boat that belonged to some poor fishermen. He takes the life of a young boy. And then he rebuilds a falling wall for a town of people who were completely rude and refused them any hospitality. To Moses and to us, these actions are just baffling.
But then comes the explanation, and it changes everything. Al-Qidr reveals that every single act was actually a hidden mercy. Damaging the boat saved it from being stolen by a tyrant king who was taking all the good boats by force. The boy he killed would have grown up to be a terrible person and cause his righteous parents unbearable pain. And that wall? It was protecting a hidden treasure that belonged to 2 young orphans. It's this powerful lesson that what we see isn't always the full picture.
Okay, rounding out our group of prophets are 2 others who share a similar fate. You have Prophet Ilyas, who you might know as Elijah from the Bible, who was also taken up to the heavens without ever tasting death. And then there's Prophet Idris, or Enoch, who the Quran says was raised to a high station, which scholars have long interpreted as being taken alive into the heavens.
So, we've met the preserved prophets. Now the story shifts gears a bit. We're moving into the ultimate conflict at the end of time, represented by 2 figures. One is the greatest hope for justice, and the other is the greatest test of faith.
Our 5th figure is Al-Mahdi. His name means the rightly guided one, and he's this awaited leader who is destined to appear when the world is in chaos. His whole mission is to unite the believers and establish a reign of pure righteousness, filling the earth with justice just like it was once filled with oppression.
And right here, we come to a really important theological difference. In the mainstream Sunni tradition, the belief is that the Mahdi hasn't been born yet. He will come in the future. But in the 12th Shia tradition, the belief is that he was actually born way back in the year 869 and is alive right now, but hidden from the world by divine will. This is called occultation, and they believe he's waiting for God's permission to reappear.
And for every great hero, there has to be a great villain, right? We'll meet our 6th figure, the Dajjal.
His name literally means the deceiver, and he is the false Messiah. He's the absolute embodiment of evil, who will show up to try and mislead all of humanity in the final days.
And this is no ordinary villain. The Dajjal is said to have these incredible deceptive powers. We're talking about things that look like actual miracles. He'll command the sky and it will rain. He'll command the earth and it will grow food. He'll even create the illusion of bringing people back from the dead. His entire goal is to make people believe that he is God.
And just to give you an idea of how serious this is, of how big this test will be, listen to what Prophet Muhammad himself said about it. He described the trial of the Dajjal as the single greatest, most difficult trial that humanity will ever face, from the very first man Adam until the end of time.
And here's the really chilling part. Tradition holds that the Dajjal isn't some boogeyman from the distant future. The belief is that he is alive right now. A very famous narration describes him as being currently chained up on some remote, unknown island, just waiting for the day when he'll be set free to wreak havoc on the world. Okay, so that's 6. We have the 4 prophets, we have Al-Mahdi, and we have the Dajjal. But who is number 7? This is where the story takes a turn into the truly unknown.
And the answer is, we don't actually know for sure. Unlike all the others, the identity of the 7th person isn't clearly defined. It's this huge subject of scholarly debate. Some have suggested it could be another righteous figure, but really it remains a divine mystery. And in a way, that's the whole point. It's a reminder that our knowledge has limits.
So what's the big picture here? When you step back and look at all these figures together, you start to realize that they aren't just a collection of separate stories. They're all interconnected pieces of a much, much larger divine plan that is still in motion.
Each one of them really symbolizes something powerful. You have Isa, who represents the ultimate restoration of truth. You have Al-Qidra, who shows us there's a hidden divine wisdom we can't always see. Al-Mahdi is the hope for ultimate justice. The Dajjal is the greatest test of our faith. And that unknown 7th person, they represent the simple fact that there are things we're just not meant to know.
When you put it all together, what you have are these living, breathing signs that are meant to completely challenge our everyday ideas about life, death, and that blurry line between the world we can see and the unseen world that exists all around us.
So it really makes you think, doesn't it? Their continued existence, according to this tradition, suggests that history isn't just a random series of events, but that it's all moving towards a very specific conclusion. And it leaves us with this one final question. What can these incredible stories teach us about our own faith, our own purpose, and all the mysteries that are just waiting for us right beyond the edge of what we can see?